How's it going, everybody? And welcome to the Liberty Bowl. It is, of course, live stream Friday. And as we do every Friday here, we come together, smoke a little bit of herb, unburden ourselves by what has been a long week at work, and, talk about the news, politics, culture, the fall of Western civilization as we know it, and just kind of hang out, have a good time. Joining me, as always, is my co host, Liberty Swine. How you doing this week, man?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good, man. Changes in life and everything's getting good, man. Getting better. No complaints, dude. How about yourself, brother?
Doing good, man. Doing real good. Yeah. I guess doing all right. I'm surviving. Things are looking good, politically. Life is what it is right now. Life is definitely an interesting place to be examining and exploring right now. But
Definitely a weird time to be in this mug, man.
right.
All your older folks that tell you, we've seen this and that before. They ain't seen this, man. This is
Oh
fucking
yeah. Yeah.
weird,
No,
straight up hedonistic fucking Gomorrah. You know what I mean?
right. One of the most important events in the history of the world, some people have said. But no, it's definitely a major world changing event. So yeah, definitely not to be underplayed in the slightest. But so obviously we're going to be talking about the election. I mean, that's pretty much what's all of the buzz in the news right now, in the media and in society, pretty much everywhere. Everyone's talking about the election right now, and of course Kamala's fucking sinking. And of course, as we talked about last week, she is a completely empty vessel of a candidate. She has nothing she brings to the table. She has no wit. She's not quick on her feet. She has no good policy positions, and she's part of the current administration that is completely destroying our economy, the fabric of what is America, and yeah, things are not looking good for her all around. She's losing the black vote, all kinds of stuff. We'll get into the nitty gritties of it a little bit in a little bit. We also have an Afghan man who was arrested for allegedly attempting to or allegedly plotting to what do you commit terror attacks on the election on election day.
Yep.
Yeah, so we got that. Of course, you're not hearing much about that because, of course, they don't want to talk about that. Why would they want to talk about that? Let's talk about other things like the weather. But speaking about the weather, we also have another hurricane. Hurricane Milton, of course, went ahead and slammed into Florida yesterday. Definitely lots of damage, but of course, the death toll is nowhere near the uh, was it Hurricane Helene? I mean, Hurricane Milton so far in Florida, was it 16 dead? Something like
Yeah,
that.
and it's not even anywhere near, the prediction that it was stated to be. I mean, if you remember, the storm at first was, it's a category five. Everyone's about to die who had mayors on
Right,
TV. Like, if you stay in your home, you're gonna die at your coffee.
right.
So,
Like an evacuation orders and everything. But again, you never know how much of that actually contributed to the amount of people not dying. So we'll be talking about pretty much the governance of one Ron DeSantis in this moment, which like everyone has been saying, the dude he ran against Trump in the primaries, he lost fantastically, and he's still a good governor. He's still good for Florida. Maybe he has a political future, somewhere in the White House, but not at this time. Not, I mean, probably not even the next round. And, but either way, we'll be talking about that. You did real good there. We'll be talking about let's see, the Kerry Lake and Ruben Gallego debate with a new bombshell that has just dropped against Ruben Gallego, which isn't going to be doing too good for him. Apparently, his father, who is a former or at least convicted drug dealer, was recently arrested for assaulting his landlady. So we'll be talking about that. Obviously, they said not looking good for Ruben Gallego, but they also had the debate this week. I don't know if you caught that at all. Did you catch any of the Senate
I
debate?
saw the best parts. I'm sure, man. I mean, some
Mm-hmm.
pretty extended cuts and, of course, highlights. And you know, she was murdering.
Oh yeah, yep, definitely. We'll be talking about all that, but what we're going to be talking about first and foremost is going to be some breaking news, everybody. So, everybody's favorite Minnesota governor, Tampon Tim. is now in a new scandalous allegation as the October surprise starts to get into full gear. If you notice, a lot of the October surprises and stuff that they had tried putting out against Donald Trump so far have all just fallen flat. All just completely fallen flat. Nobody's buying any of their shit no more, and it's really a lot of it is just because they've desensitized. They've pretty much watered down every single thing that they could say against Donald Trump to the point there's no October surprise that you could bring against Donald Trump that will surprise anybody at this point. And so I think that's a lot of the problem too. But this one for Tampon Tim over here, it's not looking good. But sorry. Did you get a chance to look into this one at all?
Like I said, a little bit right now while we were right here. You said it's pretty new stuff, breaking. Man, I was busy earlier, so I just got a slight tidbit and a little bit we've talked about, but not surprising at all that this dude can't control his fucking jazz hands, right? But break it down, dude.
All right, let's go ahead and check this out real quick. So this is, like I said, from 3 hours ago. Most of the other posts have been within that same time range, so I'm pretty sure this is just breaking. I haven't heard any other people talking about it, but let's see. So for Libercrat, he says, exposing the abundant lies and hypocrisy of the liberal media industrial complex. He says, I think we found the October surprise, and it involves Tim Walz, a male kid, and the nickname Touchdown Timmy. So let's go ahead and read it a little bit. And again, I do just want to stress that these are allegations. We're not trying to say that this is true. Again, we don't have much of any information on it other than what you see right here. Of course, as you could obviously, Tim Walz is slightly denying it by basically, of course, using the tried and true Democrat tactic of this is purely misinformation. Of course, he uses a bit more of a colorful word by saying all Donald Trump and JD Vance know about manufacturing is how to manufacture bullshit. But anyway, let's go ahead and read this down real quick. So see, black insurrectionist. Again, I don't know if this is the actual person that's doing the accusation or if it's from a different, third, fourth, fifth party. Who knows? I mean, like I said, this is all brand new, but this says, okay, Tim, I guess now would be a good time to drop my October surprise. You remember him, right? The real reason you walked away from teaching, the kid who spent the night at your home, the one you went to the gay bar with, the reason the school board had a meeting about you. What do you think, Tim? Should I drop that now or should I wait another week or so? You know the student you were having sex with, the male student you were having sex with. They didn't call you Touchdown Timmy because you were the football coach. Oh, wait, you lied. You lied about that also. You were the assistant coach. What do you think, Tim? You remember the Indigo Girls concert, right? The gay bar, spending the night, and of course, the school board meeting. Think it's time, Tim? Touchdown Timmy. You were touchy, all right.
The Indigo Girls, man. What the fuck, man? This dude's a flamer. It's pretty obvious when you see the way that he moves, talks, everything. Absolute weak wrist, right? But like you said, we don't know if this is true. This is alleged, man. But not surprising, pretty sick. And I know, at least I can post probably 20 minutes of just clips of leftists with this same issue, man.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you can't put it outside the realms of plausibility, especially with, someone like Tampon Tim, who has the name Tampon Tim, for putting tampons in the boys' bathrooms, because of course boys can menstruate. And then of course, whenever he tries to defend against it, he's like, oh, well, maybe they're getting them for their girlfriends. Like, you know what you were doing, buddy. Right. So of course it just follows down the rabbit hole of Democrats cannot tell the truth. And so really they've cried wolf too much about Donald Trump. So nobody's actually buying any of the shit that they're selling about Donald Trump. And then when it comes to things like allegations of things like pedophilia and stuff like that, nobody puts it outside the realm of plausibility. Of course, we have things like the Epstein files. Now we have all the stuff from P. Diddy and all that stuff. A lot of these celebrities and these basically leftist people that I guess that have been in power or in influence in some way or another are all within some I guess, immoral, disgusting cabal of just constant blackmail and just, I don't know, they're just all in it together. I don't know, feeling some Alex Jones rising up in me. It's just that, they're demons, they're
Right.
sacrificing babies, and they're
Right.
they're
For
they're evil.
adrenochrome and fucking,
Right.
yep, they're eating infants and fucking, yeah.
Right. So, I mean, like I say, none of this stuff is outside the realm of plausibility. So either way, even if it's true or not, it's still definitely going to hurt the campaign a lot. Of course,
You'd
they're
hope.
already doing a great job of doing that themselves, though.
Yeah, but apparently, he's on a kick right now where he's part of the team that's on the road trying to appeal to the LGBTQIA dinosaur apostrophe fucking groups,
Hmm.
to solidify the support in him and Fetterman, as a matter of fact. And the only that's one of the only reasons I could imagine why he threw in, how you were saying this half-assed denial there with the manufacturing references, because he's with fucking Fetterman from
Steel
manufacturing state.
workers.
Yep, that's trying to appeal to blue collar fucking people, man.
Yep.
But what else
Yep.
is he going to say? Especially at this point in the stage. I mean, less than a month away. Hey, what the fuck did anyone think he was going to say? Either way, like, he's already
Right.
putting his foot in his mouth so many fucking times. He's friends with school shooters, yada yada, right? But the best thing for this dude to do was avoid it, like he did right there.
Yep. Yep. I don't know. Their whole thing was just they just seem completely out of touch. Like I understand, their whole, the LGBTQ community and the marginalized and this and that, but really, when people don't have money, they don't give a fuck about other people. They don't give a fuck about other people that are marginalized or this or that or whatever. They don't give a shit no more. They don't want to hear that. So ultimately, the only people that you're actually pandering to by focusing on this, 2 to 3% of the population, is that 2 to 3% of the population. Right? Everybody
Right.
else is done. They've heard enough of it. They watched all your woke fucking garbage for years now, going on almost, probably over a decade. I'd say that's. I remember around like 2016 when Trump got elected. It was when everything became fucking diverse and all this and that, and it's people have either one had enough, or two, they're too fucking broke to care anymore. And
The
yeah,
ones that do care, that you've already got their vote. They're
right,
already
right.
part of the fucking constituent, base.
And it's funny too, because I noticed the majority of the people that are like that are all in fucking gated communities, or they're all insulated from the fucking outside world. Like, they're over here, talking about like, oh, these people have it so rough. Like, but then again, if you see them fucking in a grocery store, yeah, you know, like those are the types of people that are, Kamala voters and stuff. The people that have been won over by the LGBTQ and the fucking BIPOC struggle here in America, which America really, people are struggling here because of the color of their skin or because of their sexual orientation. Really, in America, the most fucking liberal place on the face of the goddamn planet.
Right.
But yeah,
And don't forget the old group of the absolute deviant social pariahs too. You know what I mean?
right. Yeah, all the blue haired fucking weirdos and all those. Like I said, they're pandering to they're preaching to the choir, to put it in a.
Yeah, echo
Uh,
base, and like the heads of FEMA and whatnot.
yeah,
Telling you how we got to worry about the recovery of the LGBT because they were suffering before the fucking
yeah,
hurricane. What the fuck, man?
right. But yeah, it really is just about this small sect of undecided voters at this point, which like I say, at this point, if you're undecided, then you're just really not paying attention, which doesn't make sense for you to be uh, either a fence sitter or just not a party person if you don't pay attention. Why are you going to be an independent, but you don't pay attention to shit that's going on around you, at least to the point where you're not sure between Trump or Kamala, you know?
But you'd be like, "Who's the independent candidate? You tell me,
Right.
Bobby." You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right. I just don't like being tied down to one thing, Well, then pay fucking attention at least,
Yeah,
But
and I feel like a big portion of the young cats that are out here that you see on man on the street videos that are like, who are you voting for? And they're like, oh, for sure, camels. And then when they press them at all, of course, I mean, stupidity follows. But
yeah,
a lot of the time, it's just it's the whole persona thing. It's Trump's meanses, and I think
right,
camel toes would be good talking to people from, you know what I mean, like.
right,
She
yep,
can't even talk on a scripted fucking stage. I mean, I'm sure you've seen the pictures floating around right now where she was supposed to be doing like a town hall and teleprompters. The town
yeah,
hall is off the cuff, answering questions, speaking to your possible future constituents. You know what I
yep.
mean?
There's also the video clip that came out of her on a live like Zoom call type thing, and she's telling her staffer like live recording, live
Yeah.
recording.
Live recording.
We're live right now. Fuck off.
Mhm.
Don't. As he's trying to hand her questions, because of course, like I said, the Democrats, they're all puppets. They're all just people that will literally do and say anything that you want if you give them money. I don't even think the Democrats themselves actually give a shit about power. It's the people that are pulling the strings that are worried about power. They're just worried about fucking doing what they're told, so that way they get fucking paid.
Billions
You
of
know?
dollars.
Yep. And obviously, that
And
a nation, a government cannot function in that way for very long.
the best one though recently of those clips of Camel with the teleprompter issue. Did you see the one where it was obvious the teleprompter stopped? Like,
Right.
and you could see by the look on her
32
face.
days.
Yeah, it just
32.
kept repeating herself. No
Right.
idea where to go.
Right.
Not even like on a personal appeal or anything. There, not even some comedy lined up. Just fucking. We've got 30 days. 32 days.
Right.
32.
Fucking actually, like that's 32, you guys. 3-2. I want to see if I could find the Trump pretty much mocking her. Dude, that one's fucking great. Did you see that one?
I don't. I'm not positive. She's so fucking
Trump's
gay, dude.
right. Trump's mocking her on this particular clip right here. Was basically, yeah. Well, I'll see if I could find it afterward. But let's go and watch the original real quick.
Remember his number? 32. Today we got 32 days until the election.
Panic.
So 32
Panic.
days.
There it is.
32 days.
You can almost
Okay,
hear
we
her
got
say
some
fuck.
business to do. We got some business to do. All right. 32 days. And we know we will do it.
That's fucking quick wit right there, man.
Right.
And this is going to be a very tight race until the very end. This is going to be a very tight race until the very end. We are the underdog, and we know we have some hard work ahead. Remember his number?
Yeah, underdog. You literally are in office at the moment. You're the incumbent, and you have the fucking media literally at a phone call where you can tell them what their fucking morning headlines are going to be. Like, are you serious? You are the underdog? Is you really believe anybody's buying that at all? That's insane.
Right. Like you've been in power for fucking almost 4 years, the underdog, man. The
Right.
literal epitome of the fucking system. You know what I mean? From the Senate to
Right.
fucking the
The only
vice
time she's
presidency.
ever been an underdog is fucking back in the
Under
Willie
Willie?
Brown days.
Right. Under the table.
Right. Only time she ever been underdog.
Yeah, dude. Like I'm absolutely no one, man. Just some fucking lowly, blue collar worker, bro. Another number in America's, and that was absolute horrid. Like you could again, you could see it when the teleprompter obviously stopped, and nothing. I mean, just a blank. 32, 30s, 32s is.
All right, I found it. You guys. You ready for this? This is a great clip. Some say one of the best.
She lost a teleprompter last week. Did you see it? She was talking about 32 days to the election. And she goes, there are 32 days. Oh, Oh my God. I just lost it. 32. Then she, 32, 32, 32, 32. And I said, what the hell happened to her? And then the teleprompter kicked back on. 32 days to the election. You don't want this for your president, but she lost.
It's just fucking great, man.
Yeah.
Fucking
Meanwhile,
32.
fucking the left's always Trump's fucking he's senile. He's got Alzheimer's. He's in cognitive
Right.
decline, and the man will stand there and speak off the cuff for hours, dude. You know what I mean?
Right. I guarantee you
Doing-
that was not scripted or on no teleprompter.
Yeah, yeah, and throwing in a stand up fucking routine, during it as well. I mean, he's constantly trying to crack jokes and make people laugh, and you know what I mean.
Right. Keep in mind, the Democrats get mad at the teleprompter. The teleprompter gets mad at Trump because Trump constantly goes off prompter. Like Trump is known for fucking going off prompter for hours. Like,
Right.
Trump is known for just off the cuff. Like he'll tell them stop rolling the teleprompter, and then he'll just go into something for a while, just off the cuff. And he's compared to the Democrats who are being handed note cards with questions to ask at the during meetings. They literally have other people listening and writing down questions. Say this, like,
Right.
a little bit of a difference there.
And even that one, I mean, with the whole busting herself, like, it's live. And then she went on to ask the question. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yep, good shit.
Yep.
I didn't see that Trump one, though. Apparently, I was doing my best Trump imitation, doing his best camel toes imitation. So there's the Abu Grover,
32.
man. 32 days, bro.
Yeah. Yep. But I found this video of what is it? Accent switch Kamala. Did you see that one?
No. Oh, where she does the Spanish accent? Or are you talking about the super clip?
No, it's like a little something that somebody put together. Yeah, this one's pretty fucking funny. But so obviously Kamala's fucking sinking. She's the laughing stock of America, and they're the tactics that they've been using for so long, pandering to people based off of identity politics, trying to buy votes, all this stuff, it's not working anymore. And so there's just a little funny video that kind of just goes through the different Kamala voices that she's put on throughout this campaign.
And this is
Who needs personality when you can switch who you are at the push of a button?
Swish Kamala. That's right.
Oh, hello, young lady. Quite a marvelous day, isn't it?
Why does she talk so weird?
Let me play with her.
Well, hey there, little nugget. I'm going to be the first black female president of the United States of America.
Man, this doll sucks.
Accent Switch Kamala can emulate any accent you like, as long as it grants her credibility.
Oh, bonjour, tu aimes les croissants?
Merde américaine.
Guten Tag, Sie lieben ein Bratwurst? Ufta, 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 da.
Luke, I am your mother.
Sid, Swish Kamala. That's right.
But wait, there's more. All new Accent Switch Kamala comes with 2 bags of campaign money, a blind eye for illegal immigration, and her own multi-laugh 3000 generator. Laugh in every way possible. Let Accent Switch Kamala turn your life into a complete circus.
When you give me more money, like Uncle Joey did.
Don't you wear a little mad? The money's coming.
I don't understand.
Oh, excuse me, honey.
I meant to say the money is coming. I love ice cream, clump on map.
It's Accent Switch Kamala and brand new Tampon Tim.
You know, my grandma always used to say, Kamala, Janu, please wash your hands so we can eat our chicken masama.
It's Sid, Swish Kamala.
Right. Shit's pretty funny.
Yeah, and memes win fucking information wars these days, and that's the reason that you're hearing all the rhetorical ramp up of we got to censor the inner zones.
Yep. Yes, I mean that is the reality that we're going to be facing if Kamala ends up winning this election. I mean that's 4 more years of this bullshit. I mean this really is one of the most defining I guess examples of why the First Amendment is so important in America. There's just in general, in the right to speak freely, to speak against those who are in power, to portray information, to portray your opinions. That's the most fundamentally important thing to human civilization. And this just really kind of hammers home the point. It's if they had their way, if we didn't have this concrete thing that is the First Amendment, they would have been able to shut all this down, and we would have been to fucking Soviet Union. We would definitely be the Soviet Union already by this point. But of course, that pesky First Amendment, as John Kerry puts it, that's what's been our saving grace. Among other things, but of course, in the broad sense, just the ability to speak freely, to speak truth to power. That's really what is like I said, it's at least keeping us afloat in this fight.
Yeah, and that's why not only are they not hiding it, but you hear the range of test shots. Like you said, Kerry, with if we win, we can revise the First Amendment. To do away with dis and misinformation. As if they have to be empowered. They're the only arbiters that can decide what that is. Apparently, beyond fucking destroying the Constitution, Hillary going as far as saying, we might have to jail people, man. You know what I mean? And then, Camel Toes herself saying that platforms have to be held liable. And then you got, Adam Schiff and Dan Goldman sending out a letter to all the heads of the major social medias asking how they're going to crack down for, elections. It's a nonstop spiel, man. They know it. And, then you have like Jon Stewart out here saying, speaking on Elon, saying that that's why you have the second is to defend the first. And he's like, that's not what defends the first. It's legislators and, laws and yada, yada. And, basically guns don't defend the first. But then he goes on to say, it seems to me like, it's only defending the people with the guns. Fucking the exact point. The exact fucking point, right, dude. You know what I mean? Yeah. Complete morons and willing to do away with their own freedom and protections just to be, to appeal to, I'm morally superior as this.
Yep. Yeah. But then again, they'll be the last to actually, adhere to their own laws, especially when it comes to things like taxes. I'm pretty sure 99% of the motherfuckers in our government are at least in some way, shape, or form guilty of tax evasion, based off of their own shit that they vote for. Of course, it's rules for thee, but not for me,
not just that, insider trading, of course. I mean, like you were saying, that's, they'll do what they're told because they're just worried about lining their pockets. And that's where a lot of that comes in.
Yeah.
And it's not just Democrats, obviously both sides. I think the number one trader right now is old Crenshaw, man. Fucking eye patch McCain and shit.
Yeah, he overtook old fucking Pelosi.
As far as he's not as rich, of course, but as far as outperforming the S&P these past few years.
Oh, okay. Yep. Yeah, absolutely. It's completely blatant, obvious, and in your face. And there's nothing you can do about it. These people are the ones that are in power. But ultimately, like I said, with free speech, with thanks to, of course, Elon Musk for making X free to it with limits again. That's really kind of brought a lot of this to light. But another saving grace, of course, is we need a solid Supreme Court, which we do have right now, and that's really what's kind of kept us afloat throughout this entire Biden-Harris administration. But really, it's very, very important that we have a constant, correct, constitutionalist Supreme Court. I mean, because of course, as you see constantly within Congress, within the Senate, they will vote to take your rights away constantly. It doesn't matter. They will vote to fucking get rid of anything, every single sort of loophole or fucking word play or anything they could do to mentally gymnastic around the Constitution. They will try to do it, and it's up to good judges to make good legal decisions, right? Of course, we've seen plenty of bad legal precedent throughout the years. The NFA Act, for one, Roe v. Wade, that was another one. I mean, there's countless, and we'll be here all day if we start talking about things like the Federal Reserve taxes, all that other shit. But there's so much stuff that, I mean, of course, all of this stuff again too is unconstitutional, but nonetheless,
And
it's from judges not doing their jobs, really.
and that's when the vast majority of like the bills that you were naming beyond solidifying the fact that the Federal Reserve is legal. Those were passed during the decades when it was basically liberal controlled Supreme Court. And, you didn't hear fucking Republicans like, well, we got to destroy the Supreme Court. Let's prosecute judges. Let's, make our own ethics codes. Let's stack the court. You didn't hear this shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was like, well, we lost in court. Fuck, we'll try a different way, what have you. But these cats are, again, that's everything that holds our society together. Checks and balances, freedom of speech, freedom to defend yourself. You know what I mean? These are all the things that they continuously try to fucking dismantle and attack.
Yep.
Are fundamentals. Everything else is a right. Fucking killing babies, getting your genitals cut off, fucking purple hair dye. All this stuff is a human right. You know what I mean? But, the shit that we actually have codified as such, of course, those have to be done away with.
Right. Yep, and it's at the same like we were talking about earlier. They're fucking hypocrites down to even, especially of course Kamala. But with this one example, of course, with her, I'm a gun owner too. You come break into my house, you gonna get shot. That whole thing, it's really backfired on her, and in every fucking aspect. For one, the lefties finding out that she's a gun owner, they collectively read out real quick, and then of course the conservatives. Like, oh, well, what kind of gun does she have? And her answer, I have a Glock. That's all.
The most
That's
generic
all.
law enforcement fucking
the law enforcement fucking special from, of course,
Right.
Of course, reminding people that she was fucking former law enforcement. She was a prosecutor. She was fucking attorney general, right? For in San Francisco,
California. Yep.
Yeah. She's always been part of the man, the system, and so that's basically if you're a gun owner and all you own is a fucking Glock because you're in former law enforcement, that's not a good look. That's like I said, among 2A advocates, you're basically just a FUD. Even among fucking police officers, you're just a fucking person that you probably don't train very much. You're basically one of those people that carries a gun but probably only shoots it maybe once every year for fucking qualifying and shit like that. But like I said, just all around backfired on her in every single direction. Lefties fucking hate the fact that she's a gun owner, and the right, the Second Amendment advocates hate the fact that she's a plain fucking gun owner. She's obviously like I say, from the law enforcement field.
Everything they're doing, she's just losing, dude. I mean, you see, she went on that call what is it, Call Her Daddy podcast,
Right.
and they made a big deal about it. And you see the leftist accounts on X, like it blew up, it's got all these views, and then you see the actual truth. The chick done lost thousands of subs for having her on, and you know what I'm saying? I mean, and of course, older cats are tearing her apart because it's normally a raunchy, sexual based fucking podcast. Apparently, I'm not familiar with it at all, but
yeah,
and even with she went on the 60 Minutes and pushed her slightly, and of course it was just drivel platitudes as usual. I mean, just makes an ass of herself every time, and that's her route to winning. To me, should have been continue on the Joe Biden's route.
Yep.
Of course, I would never want her to win, nothing like that. That's a fucking nightmare. But the fact is the more she speaks, the more she fucks herself.
Right. Yeah, I think just a lot of the people that are even just super anti-Trump are even coming to a sense of like I can't vote for this fucking woman. Like, she is fucking stupid. Like, she is dumb. Like, they say she brings nothing to the table. She's a fucking empty puppet. That's all that she is. And she's not even good at fucking hiding it either,
Yep, platitudes, and you guys remembers January 6th.
Right.
Fucking abortion. You know what I mean? That's it.
Right. Right. Of course,
32 days.
that's her big thing is fucking, the abortions. But again, it just, speaks to like I say, just the how out of touch she is with how bad things have gotten under, hers and Joe Biden's administration. Like I said, the people are, for a couple of years ago, people were like, yeah, women's rights, especially when Roe v. Wade was overturned, people were like, yeah, women's rights, can't tell women what to do with their body, LGBTQ rights, yada, yada, yada,
Pound Me Too movement.
Right, like I say, people are at the point now where they can't afford to fucking, eat dinner anymore. People are, starting to, buy groceries with fucking, taking out credit and loans and shit. Yeah, people aren't buying that shit no more. People don't care, and they don't seem to get that. That's like I say, they're out of touch with the average American person. And they think that the average American person is just thinking about fucking the latest Cardi B song and fucking shaking asses and fucking everybody just sleeping with everybody and shit, and it's all right. Everybody just get abortions. That's what everybody in America is focused on. Like maybe they were several years ago, but that's not the case no more. Your policies, your freaking the people that you've been letting in the border, the bad economic policies, everything that you've done has made people broke and fearful, and they're not really worried too much about fucking abortions and the latest Cardi B shit.
Tranny stormtroopers.
Right.
Definite clown world out here, man.
Yep. Yeah, but yeah, it's just, I guess it's the way that things go. You can't be black-pilled. I guess you could be black-pilled to the extent that people, if people just aren't paying attention, if people because that is really the reality. It's just people haven't been paying attention. The only reason people are paying attention now is because they can't not. They can't afford food. They can't afford housing. They can't afford cars. They can't afford gas. People are starting to like, what's this all about? People are starting to look up for the first time in their fucking lifetimes what inflation means and how inflation occurs. And is the price, is the grocery store just gouging my prices because they're greedy, or are they fucking like some part of conglomerate where they're just all deciding to raise their prices at once, or is there something like a market that kind of dictates the way that prices go? And yeah, and again, we owe it all to the Dems' bad policy, and yeah, like I said, just as long as we keep that Constitution as intact as we can, and even try and restore some of what we've lost from it, I think we'll be able to get back to a good place. And I think that a lot of our problems can be, like I said, solved through information, through being able to speak with each other and share opinions, and tell about our ideas and all this and that. I think that's how we're going to actually be able to not have a sort of a either Soviet fucking takeover, or some sort of French Revolution, or a civil war, or all of them wrapped into one.
Yeah, you deserve what you tolerate, man. You know what I'm saying? And thus far, the American people have tolerated some serious shit. The devaluation of the dollar, the number one. Regardless if they still try to tell you, this is the richest country in the world. We're really not. I mean, we'll never be in the black again unless we just wipe that out and start all over. You know what I'm saying? I mean, every dollar that you pay in or is collected as revenue by the state is spent long before it's collected.
Yep.
So it's like you said, you don't want to be black-pilled, but at the same time, you want to know what the fuck's happening. And, a lot of those same people that not only were not paying attention, but also just heard snippets and bought into fucking mainstream media's bullshit. When you had, senators like Rand Paul trying to introduce bills to limit Congress's power, to, or bring Congress's power back from the executive branch in certain areas. And it's, that's right wing's extremesies,
Right.
I mean, even with like how you just said, a lot of people didn't even know about inflation or what have you. And you remember even the leftists were saying that after the midterms, that it's because of MAGA's extremesies, man, that people now are talking about inflation. Nobody knew about that.
Right. Till you guys started telling them about it.
Right. You guys would hate to fucking read some misses, huh?
Right. But yep, 32 days, you guys. I'm just kidding. But yeah, so Kamala has gotten some support though from some unexpected sources, right? Places that you would never actually expect. Yeah, it's this Kamala supporter puts it in a pretty good way for us. Of course, she's a psychopath, but let's go ahead and hear what she has to say.
Even Dick Cheney is not for President Trump. George W. Bush, and he was a sweetie pie. I'd be okay. If it was George W. Bush, I'd be like, okay, I could handle him again. But I can't do Trump. And George W. Bush did not speak at the Republican National Convention. And he's alive and well and capable. That speaks volumes.
Right. Yeah, it definitely does speak volumes. And the volumes that it does speak is the fact that the Republican Party is no longer the home of the neocons or the warmongers. The warmongers are all endorsing Kamala Harris, right? And they're actually toting it like it's a good thing. And like they're like, yeah, fucking Dick Cheney, we got the endorsement of the devil. The guy that we literally called the fucking Satan for years. We got his endorsement, you guys. We won him over finally, And of course, Liz Cheney. Everyone knows Liz Cheney. She got fucking primaried out by 36 fucking points, or she lost. She got primaried out by like 36 fucking points.
Harriet Hagman, and she's great replacement, absolute beast, man, on the floor, a head cracker. You love to see it, but yeah, she got murdered out.
Right. And then all of course, because she was the bipartisan basically of the bipartisan January 6th committee, right? Of course, basically Kinzinger. And Kinzinger, but basically sold out their parties, and then now they're basically endorsing the corrupt Democrats, the warmongering neo-lib, I guess now, faction. And of course, it's all for ching money. Actually,
it's always with the eyes, man. All those leftist chicks are always fucking psychotic shit. From the randos in the street like that to AOC, and even old pencil neck fucking Schiff.
Right. Check this out. I fucking found this the other day. You can make up to $400 to helping to elect Kamala Harris. Talk to your friends and family about the election. Apply now to become a voting ambassador. Right? They're trying to get you to fucking trying to trick your family and friends into voting for Kamala Harris, and they'll pay you to do it. Right? They're not just paying fucking social media influencers and TikTok influencers anymore. Which, of course, I heard that they were getting paid like $1,500 a fucking propaganda posts. I mean, $400. What fuck kind of shit is that? You guys are being real fucking capitalist all of a sudden. Really pinching those pennies. Lately it seems like.
That's real rando, but fucking dude, you see Elon's PAC's doing the same shit. Like pays you like something, $45 or something for every person that you get registered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I guess if it's legal and stuff, doing like canvassing and all that type of stuff. But I mean, at the same time, like I said, just their whole propaganda fucking kick has just been ridiculous, especially like I say with influencers, with all these different celebrities. Like what was it? The dude from fucking Tombstone? Yeah. Fuck, I can't remember his name.
Sam Elliott, man.
Yeah, Sam Elliott. Yeah, that one was like one of the cringiest, man.
But vote for a woman.
Right, you ain't a man unless you're willing to vote for a woman. Cut the shit. Yeah, he's fucking cringy as fuck. She's got even more cringe mans for camels. They're reinventing masculinity in the shape of this. Have you seen this one yet?
No, but earlier I was listening to some shit and I heard the term about feminine aligned masculinity, man. Like they're the opposite. That there's no such thing. That doesn't exist.
Right. I mean, you'll definitely see it right here for sure. This video of some real manly men that are just dripping with estrogen. It's very, very horrifying look of what the a Democrat vision of masculinity in America is going to look like. But go ahead and check this one out. This one's pretty bad.
I'm a man.
I'm a man.
I'm a man, man.
And I'm man enough.
I'm man enough to enjoy a barrel-proof bourbon.
Neat.
Man enough to cook my steak.
All right. This guy looked like he's a burly old manly man. I remember the last time I sat like this. All right, guys. So we're going to be talking about tonight on the Liberty Bowl is that's
Right, crushing nuts and shit.
right. You'll see he has a bit more of some questionable comments a little bit later on, but again, these people are not actual fucking farmers. These people are here for a fucking photo shoot. These people are all fucking models in Hollywood or some fucking ridiculous shit like that. These people are all fucking actors, right? And there's no way that you can convince me that. I mean, of course, you could show me their actual farm or whatever the fuck it is that they actually own and shit. Show me the documents and all that. But yeah, I do not believe that these people are fucking farmers and mechanics and fucking bodybuilders and shit like that, right?
Rare.
Man enough to deadlift 500, then braid the out of my daughter's hair.
You think I'm afraid to rebuild a carburetor? I eat carburetors for breakfast. I ain't afraid of bears.
That's what bear hugs are for.
they all got little fucking lisps to them too. Like, I eat carburetors for breakfast.
I'll tell you another thing I sure as shit am not afraid of. Women.
I'm not afraid of women.
I'm not afraid of women.
They want to control their bodies? I say go for it.
They want to use IVF to start a family? I'm not afraid of families.
They want to be childless cat ladies? Have all the cats you want.
Woman wants to be president? Well, I hope she has the guts to look me right in the eye and accept my full-throated endorsement. Because I'm man enough to support women.
Man enough to know what kind of donuts I like.
Man enough to admit I'm lost, even when I refuse to ask for directions.
Man enough to not ban young women from reading Little Women.
Or one of those pants books that the sisters like. I'm man enough to raw dog a flight. It sucked. Not worth it.
I'm man enough to be emotional in front of my wife.
In front of my kids.
In front of my horse.
I'm man enough to tell you that I cry at Love Actually.
Good Will Hunting.
West Side Story. That and Predator.
And I'm sick of so-called men domineering, belittling, and controlling women just so they can feel more powerful.
That's not how my mama raised me.
I love women. I love women who support their families.
Women who decide not to have families.
Women who take charge.
And I'm man enough to help them win.
They look like they had to try so hard in that. I love women. I love women.
Right, man. But dude, that was just absolute cancer.
Right. Especially this dude right here, man. This fucking fancy pants right here. Like I said, they all seem to have like a lisp to their voice. Like, it's to the point where they can't even fucking hide it no more. Like they can't even act. You got some B fucking, not even B, like some D-list fucking celebrities to like, oh fuck it, this is the first fucking acting job that I've had in years. Yeah,
right, they're just extras, man.
Right. Yeah, but fucking cringe, man. Absolutely fucking cringy.
Pure AIDS.
Right. Yeah, literally. But yeah, that's the Kamala campaign. That's what they're trying to reinvent masculinity into.
That's chicks trying to portraying what they think masculinity is to fucking try to attract you to vote fucking for Camel. That's hilarious shit, man.
Right. And at the same time, these chicks that are trying to say I want a man that's sensitive and that's willing to ask for directions and stuff like that. Yeah, well, just so you know, that same man that's sensitive and willing to ask for directions is also going to make you help him push whenever the fucking car breaks down because he doesn't know how to change the fucking oil or how to fucking how to change a fucking tire. You're probably going to have to fucking help him with that too. So yeah, keep that in mind as well too. I forgot what some of them were, but I mean, just a lot of their definitions of masculinity. It's really just watered down metrosexual fucking Americanism, you know?
Yeah, and you know the stats, something, like 58% of guys are raised by single moms, 70% of teachers are fucking women. Like in reality, it's a lack of masculinity in fucking society that's the issue. That's where you get these little effeminate, weak wrist fucks, man.
Yep. But it's okay. They're voting for camels.
Right. And I thought gender was just a fucking social construct, and having a DAC doesn't make you a dude. You know what I mean?
You're right.
You don't know where they're going. They're all over the fucking place.
Matter of fact, you're actually not allowed to even be called a woman unless you have a penis these days. Right? if you don't have a penis, you're not a woman. You're a birthing person. You're a menstruator. You're a thing that bleeds once a month.
With a ham sandwich.
Right. That's it's definitely not degrading at all to anybody. But another, again, like I said, just the collapse after collapse after collapse for this Kamala campaign, because another demographic that she's of course losing is of course the brothers.
Black
made made evident here by this this seemingly lecture by Barack Obama to the black voters, right? Of course, the black voters, the black males in particular, are not supporting Kamala Harris. They're tired of being pandered to. They're tired of all the empty decades of promises, or perhaps maybe they're just fucking identifying with someone else that's been a victim of the state apparatus, the system, man. Fucking, it could be any one of those, but either way, they're definitely in a full panic right now because they broke out the fucking big old Barry-O to come try and save the day. And of course, he's going to fail fantastically.
Is that we have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running. Now, I also want to say that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers. So if you don't mind, just for a second, I'm going to speak to y'all directly.
Speaking to y'all, brothers.
And say that when you have a choice that is this clear, when on the one hand you have somebody who grew up like you, knows you, went to college with you,
comes from a middle-class family,
understands the struggles and pain and joy that comes from those experiences. He's had to work harder and do more.
Yeah, you all remember Critical Race Theory 101?
Overcome and achieves the second highest office in the land.
Second highest in the land.
Dude, how could them fools sit in that room and listen to that dude say that? Like, you didn't grow up like me. You grew up with your white grandparents on an island in fucking Hawaii. You know what I mean? Like, no, you didn't.
Right. Yeah. Fucking. Yeah. Just that's like I say. That's been their thing. Is just I was raised in the middle class. Why are you trying to destroy it? Right.
Yeah, and this dude right out of college, community organizer, law degree, obviously, and that's how earlier you were talking about, they just continuously try to find ways to get around or dismantle the Constitution. This dude's a prime example. He was a constitutional attorney. He did everything he could to fuck shit up. You know what I mean? And he represented these people in Chicago, in a lower class area, yada yada. But obviously, he wasn't from there. Just like all these other cats, like Adam Schiff. That dude actually lives in Maryland, but he's a representative from California. Like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, shit. Yeah, fucking these just out of state politicians that just come in and fucking run for office. For being Ruben Gallego. What is he from? Like Michigan or something, like Minnesota or something like that. He's somewhere Midwest. But
His dad was the shit with his dad, I think, was in Illinois.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. From Illinois. He says somewhere out there in the Midwest. But yeah, he's not from Arizona. But either way, he's lived here for a few years. So he's running for office now. He knows the people. He's here to represent you.
Same with Scaby Hobbs, man.
Yeah. And of course, what was it? Carrie Lake. She's not originally from Arizona, but she's been here since the fucking 90s. I mean, she's been here about as long as I have, and that's because I was born in the fucking 90s. So.
Yeah, the early 90s, dude. My fucking Gramps was watching her on the news back in the day, man.
Yep. Yeah, so that's the difference there. But yeah, just a lot of these these people just move into these places, and it's especially in like these safe places, these safe regions. That way they got their pretty much their constant puppet. They're a person that's going to get voted in no matter what. Nobody's going to primary them because, of course, they have all these people in their pockets. So, yeah, I forgot where I was originally going with that. But either way, fucking Barack Obama coming out to pander to the old blacks to try and get them to vote for Kamala Harris. But again, they're leaving the plantation, man. They're done with it. It's been since the 60s, or that like 60 fucking years. Over 60 fucking years since that they've been waiting on them reparations and fucking waiting on that fucking deluxe apartment in the sky. Let me tell you,
and like you pointed out, the pandering, you've seen, the accent change. I'm talking to y'all, and again, this dude grew up in Hawaii.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, fucking. It's like I say, that's all that they have at this point is fucking abortions and identity politics. Yeah, and like I said, the lack of answers is really putting a lot of people off too.
racism's a fucking low expectations, and like you said, just role playing.
Yep.
It's beyond pandering at that point. It's in your face, and I'm sure it's always been like that to an extent. But with the old inner zones and cell phones, that shit travels too fast.
Yeah.
And if you're not insulted by it, like say they tried to speak like I'm from Arizona, started speaking like hey fool, you know what I'm saying? Like he's a straight Vato kid or something. And you'd hope that people would be offended by that. The people that he's imitating, like what the fuck is your problem, man?
Yep. They're shameless with it though, man. They're like I say, they really are the racists in this country. Like not to try and like, oh, everything's racism, but no, when it comes down to people that literally only view life through the lens of race, it's them. When they've done that study that shows that leftists and liberals are more likely to talk to a person of color in a dumbed down tone. Their entire platform, their entire critical race theory platform is basically it's white knighting. It's white savior complex. It's basically the idea. It's the concept that you've been kept down so long, there's no way that you could ever reach up to my level unless I come and help you, basically, because my evil ancestors were just so bad to you that now you guys are just completely broken and could never possibly catch up in society.
Right, like I said, it's the racism of lowered expectations. It's kids in the Bronx don't even know what the word computer means. You know what I'm saying? I mean, asinine shit. Like how do you
kids are just as smart and talented as white kids?
Right.
Yeah. If I can, that's the party that they are. And like I say, a lot of people are starting to come to the realization, and the Democrats are even starting to come to the realization as their poll numbers have been sinking abysmally. Of course, especially after was it the tampon Tim debate, and then of course Kamala's subsequent interview afterward. Or of course, we got the word salad. We got pretty much just empty platitudes. That's all that she has. Everything was scripted, and everything since then has just been one gaffe after the other. From Joe Biden coming out and basically saying like, oh, she was part of everything. She was, nothing went through without her fucking stamp of approval.
She had as much powers as I did.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, just everything is just looking bad for her. And then of course, her getting fed questions while on a live stream. Her podcast, it's just everything, dude. Every single thing that they tried to do with this woman, it just completely backfires. And every single time they put her in front of a camera to actually speak, her poll numbers go down. Whenever she speaks candidly, whenever she answers questions off the cuff, they have to edit it, right? That 60 minutes interview, it's I could probably find the video, but I mean there's clear,
it's almost
fucking,
like they reshot it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
I mean, it was like a completely different fucking answer, and people are passing it around like this is edited, this is unedited. Like, no, this is beyond edited. It seems like a complete fucking reshoot.
yeah, this is
For real.
actual fucking propaganda. This is fucking actual like fake propaganda, nefarious propaganda. This is
Yeah.
this is bad to put it lightly. And I think a lot of people are starting to come to that realization. It's I was actually just thinking, the other day, you remember a couple months ago, maybe it was like a year ago, I don't remember, but when that whole TikTok fucking trend thing was going around where girls were going up to guys and like, how often do you think of Rome? And it's quite often. And of course
Right.
that was for a reason, because there's very, very similar parallels to what took place with the fall of Rome to what is taking place currently within America. And of course, there's very similar, a lot of similarities to, the governmental style to basically just the empirical style system. Not empirical as in, common knowledge, but I mean, like empire structure and stuff like that. And of course, to the whole, down to immigration, to overextending their power, just a whole bunch of stuff. There's a whole bunch of similarities, and so that's why people were watching or talking or had that on their mind constantly. So I think a lot of these other stuff, like we were talking about with inflation, obviously people, if they're learning about this word inflation, then that must mean that they're starting to look into some sort of economics. So I just think, like I said, the worse things get, the more people start to open their eyes. The more people are, kind of forced to have their eyes open in one way or another. And I think that it's kind of going in a bit of a collective sense, And so I think that basically, like we've said before, this whole MAGA thing, it's not Donald Trump. It's an entire movement. It's an entire awakening of, what has been put to rest by fucking television and fucking, the music industry and fucking shaking asses on TV and fucking every fucking thing that we've just been stimulated to death to with. It's people are hopefully finally starting to break through the veil and actually starting to look into stuff that actually affects everybody in their, especially, the stuff that affects themselves.
Yeah, and your children. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that's the most important part because obviously that's what's fucked up everything. Other people's fucking kids. You know what I mean? I mean, it's not only about what you leave behind, but it's about who you leave behind. It's just as important.
Yep. Ugh. But all right, you want to talk about the Afghan guy? I'll be honest, I don't really know too much about the dude. I didn't get a chance to read any of those articles, but of course it's something that they're trying to sweep under the rug, so it must be important. I do have the clip of Mayorkas trying to dodge the question. It's about 2.5 minutes long, but you want to give us what you know about it real quick, man?
I mean, obviously, this guy was let in under Biden. That's the claim. Like you said, all this is pretty much hearsay, alleged shit. And they found him with a stockpile of weapons, planning an attack for election day. And now information is circulating around the inner zones that apparently this guy, it's not the modus operandi of he was on the FBI's radar, but apparently this dude actually, contracted in some form for the CIA. So, as usual, it gets deeper. It's always a fucking web that gets weaved, whether it's, real information or, fake or interwoven with both. You'll probably never get the full story, but, obvious this person planned on killing a large amount of people with the weapons and, the amount that he had.
Right. Yep. And of course, he's screened. Wasn't he? Wasn't he screened by the Biden administration?
Yeah, he was vetted, man.
Yeah. Yeah. So I believe this reporter is basically asking, how with all your guys' rigorous vetting process was he able to get through? And of course, Mayorkas is going to try and deflect because, of course, that's not what the subject is that we're talking about right now. I'd like to talk about the hurricane that, and the damage and stuff that is taking place, and just deflects and deflects and deflects. We might not even watch the whole thing because it really is just kind of circling and circling and circling back to the same thing, but he just is a constant stonewall.
Thanks, Green. Mr. Secretary, it's Jackie Heinrich from Fox. I want to ask you about a different story. This Afghan national who was working for the CIA in Afghanistan was arrested for planning an election day terror plot. He was brought to the U.S. after Afghanistan collapsed. Your agency says as part of the SIV program. The State Department is telling us he was not part of the SIV program, which had strenuous vetting. They say he was never issued an SIV or immigrant visa, and DHS paroled him into the U.S. They further expect the court document to be updated to reflect this from the DOJ side. So, Mr. Secretary, how was this man brought into the U.S.? What screening did he undergo? What did he apply for to get here?
Jackie, I'm here in North Carolina. Communicating with the individuals who are still conducting search and rescue operations. Over 200 people have lost their lives in Hurricane Helene. We have reports that at least 10 individuals have lost their lives as a result of Hurricane Milton. I'd be very pleased to answer your question in a different setting, but we're here to talk about emergencies and the support that we can deliver to people in desperate need. Thank you.
Secretary, but we're getting conflicting answers from your agency and from the State Department about a man who was arrested for an election day terror plot. How do you not have those answers prepared?
Jackie, that's not what I said. What I said is I'd be pleased to discuss this issue at a different time, but I am here to speak about disasters that have impacted people's lives in real time, and that is a subject that I am addressing today.
Mr. Secretary, can you assure people that appropriate steps have been taken to secure the country against these kinds of threats? Because the outstanding question is whether this man was radicalized before the U.S. government brought him here or afterward. And people should be concerned about that.
Jackie, your persistence in questioning can be matched by my persistence in answers.
All right, we're going.
Fucking stonewalled.
The slimiest motherfucker right there, dude.
Right, that dude's a fucking scumbag.
Yeah, that guy's personally responsible for the vast majority of the destruction that's taken place over the last 4 years. He's the head of with the Secret Service, the border. I mean, everything, FEMA, everything that's collapsing and fucking up, falling apart, not functioning right, being abused. It's all under his fucking command.
Yep. Yeah, dude, it's absolute fucking scumbag, man. Fucking. And again, it's they're scrambling to get supplies and all this stuff now. What is it's been like 2 fucking weeks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What you guys were fucking not? You guys weren't there fucking the first for like the first 5 days, something like that. And then at the same time, now you guys, I mean, there's videos all over of government helicopters going in and fucking knocking over people's supplies. There's people saying that the whole hurricane relief stuff, you guys pretty much just came, dropped it off, took a fucking photo with it, and then loaded it back up on the fucking planes and took off. Everything with them is just garbage, But I don't know. You want to talk about fucking Hurricane Milton though? In contrast,
sure.
Right, so of course, like we said, Hurricane Milton made landfall in Florida. I believe it got in the Panhandle and like through the middle of the state, right?
Yep. And it actually came from the west, which is rare. Usually, it comes from the opposite direction.
Right, for it came from the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a bit odd. Of course, the meteorologists all week have basically been calling this a anomaly that they cannot explain. Right. Of course, there's been lots of conspiracy theories going around about cloud seeding. Of course, we know that the government has been involved in things like cloud seeding, attempted weather manipulations for quite some time. There are previous patents out that people have been pointing out for things like hurricane directions, manipulation, machinery and stuff like that, all kinds of stuff. But I mean, they're also pointing out that the patents are like from back in like the 30s and 40s, which everybody you should feel totally fine, because of course nobody has ever thought or done any sort of research into this since then. Of course, right? That's the last time anybody's ever considered trying to control the weather or use it as a weapon.
It's not like multi-billionaire sheiks in fucking Dubai didn't cloud seed and make it rain for his daughter's birthday and went too far and flooded the joint out. I mean, it's not like it fucking hasn't snowed several times fucking in the Middle East for the first time in centuries, fucking, you know what I'm saying, on Christmas and shit. I mean, so on and so on. All that, it's just anomalies. But with this storm, you're glad everyone's okay. I don't, my wife has fucking family down there, and that they were tripping at first, of course, but everything's good. They just had a tree fall that hit their house or nothing. So fucking A. And Ron handled it well, right? Old DeSantis down there killing it. But my favorite part of all of it is when reporters were trying to grill him and blend in the old fucking climate changes, and he just fucking destroyed them, dude. Come off, I mean, off the top of the dome, he was on fire, man. And named like there was 21 storms before this, most of which took place fucking pre 1960 or fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like went on and on. It was like fucking A, murdered it. Because that's where they all went. Even Mayorkas, right? When they questioning him about hurricane funding, yada yada. What did he go to? Immediately, climate changes. It's your fault. You know what I mean? Because of your SUVs. And of course, there's absolutely no proof for that. Yeah, we add carbon to the atmosphere. Yes, is it heating up? Yeah, but we have no proof how much is cost from us, what it will actually do. The fact that a whole greenhouse effect actually makes plants grow more lush and large, so on, so on.
Yeah, I mean, I got a couple of them pulled up real quick. Was it one of these ones, or is it like one of the news ones?
It was one of the news. It could have been the one that was up one. Go up a little over there. Right?
This.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, let me see real quick.
Well, I think she should look in the mirror. We've been on an emergency footing for 2 weeks straight, round the clock, 24.
No, totally. Where he's got like the pullover.
Hey, Governor, could you just help clear something else up that happened earlier this week? And we were actually debating it at the table. So I got to ask. There was some praise that came your way from President Biden and said that they had spoken. You had spoken. Then there was this brouhaha over Vice President Harris apparently reaching out to you. And maybe not taking the call, and this whole thing, accusations that this had all become politicized. Can you just speak to what happened there?
I am working with the President of the United States. I'm working with the Director of FEMA. I'm marshaling all my state assets. We've been doing this now nonstop for over 2 weeks between Helene and this. And so if there's anything I can leverage to benefit my people, I'm going to do it. The fact of the matter is they put out a story saying I didn't even know she was trying to reach me, but she has no role in this process. And I've been dealing with these storms in Florida under both Trump and Biden. Neither of them ever politicized it. And in fact, all the storms I've dealt with under this administration, although I've worked well with the president, she has never called in Florida. She has never offered any support. So what she's doing is she's trying to inject herself into this because of her political campaign. So as the governor here who's leading this, I don't have time for those games. I don't care about her campaign. Obviously, I'm not a supporter of hers, but she has no role in this process. And so I'm working with the people I need to be working with. We're leveraging the resources I need to be leveraging. And for her to try to say that my focus should be on catering to her rather than worrying about my own people just shows she doesn't understand what it means to respond to these natural disasters.
Yeah, that was a good one, obviously, but he was just crushing her like, who the fuck are you? I talked to your boss. But I just sent you the video.
Okay, let me see.
About 950 millibars.
Global warming.
Tornadoes?
Yeah, it's increasing tornadoes.
I think you could go back and find tornadoes for all of human history for sure. And especially, Florida, how does this storm rate in kind of the history of storms? I think it hit with a barometric pressure of, what was it, about 950 millibars when it hit? Which I think if you go back to 1851, there's probably been 27 hurricanes that have had lower so the lower the barometric pressure, the stronger it is. I think there have been about 27 hurricanes that have had lower barometric pressure on landfall than Milton did. And of those, 17 occurred, I think, prior to 1960.
Yep. So yeah, again, they're not trying to control any weather. They're not trying to mess with anything. It's definitely climate changes.
I mean, I don't know about the old control shit. Obviously, like you said, the place is famous for having storms. While they did go through a nice little peaceful time for a few years, I mean, it's synonymous with the area. You got to get hurricanes insurance.
Right. Yeah, but of course, Florida's got some infrastructure in line to make sure that they're able to get through this. Of course, my lady's family is from Florida. From Florida, and she grew up there, and she said that she remembers hurricanes and stuff like that. She remembers sitting in her house, and the power stays on the whole time. They're just sitting in there watching TV and everything. All the hurricane passes through. But of course, here in Arizona, where we don't get things like hurricanes, but we do get monsoon season. It seems like just about every single monsoon season, the fucking power goes out all over the damn state. It seems
as soon as it gets windy. It doesn't even need to be storming, like pre-storm conditions.
Right. It's we have the most delicate electrical infrastructure ever, which just like I said, really just makes the comparison of how much Florida actually puts into their infrastructure to defend against things like hurricanes, whatever other natural disasters. Yeah, but mainly hurricanes. So yeah, they were definitely prepared. To put it one way. Yeah, and this of course led to of course people did still lose their lives. So let's not try to downplay anything like that, but it could have been much worse, thanks to the leadership of Ron DeSantis. Only 16 people have been lost thanks to Hurricane Milton. But again, round of applause for old Ron. He did good there.
Yeah, that and of course, fucking God, dude. I mean,
of course,
obviously getting downgraded from a category 5, which would have been catastrophic, to a 3 really changed the game and helped out, man. And I know my lady's family, like at first when they were telling everyone, if you stay in your house, it's going to be your coffin. They were smashing out. They packed up the old camper and started smashing with the kids. And then once it got downgraded, they went home.
Yep,
we'll be all right.
Yep. Yeah, it's crazy. Not necessarily the same thing, but I got caught in a big old dust storm the other day on the interstate. It's pretty crazy, man. Like you couldn't see like more than like the tail lights in front of you.
Fucking white out and shit.
Yep. Yeah, it was pretty heavy for about a good mile down the whole interstate, and that was pretty intense. But again, like I say, nothing compared to, I'm sure, what was going on over in Florida and the East Coast. Of course, they're still cleaning up the damage from Hurricane Helene over there in North Carolina. yeah, again, of course, hearts go out to everyone that was lost. May God rest their souls, of course. But yeah, it's definitely been some interesting election season. You don't want to necessarily relate the two, but you also can't necessarily take them apart from each other.
Just for the impact that it could possibly have, for sure. And like you
Right.
said, you don't even want to talk about that. It's people's lives that are involved in shit. I mean, but ultimately, the lives of 350 million people are involved as well. And it just happens to be all these areas that are hit are primarily Republican fucking voting areas, man.
Right.
Which could be fucked. But some state legislatures there have come together to change different rules about where they can hold, voting booths and shit like that. So, they are trying to make it happen, but we'll see how it turns out.
Yep. Fingers crossed again. Of course, no red wave talk, but I mean, those places are pretty solid red. There's a pretty good chance that they still remain red, and at the same time, Donald Trump is killing it everywhere else. In all the swing states, all of them, he's ahead.
Again, no red wave talk, but the RCP that just dropped has him with like a 13% fucking lead, nationally.
Yeah.
So,
yep, yeah, he's definitely looking good. I mean, I'm pretty. I think I've gotten like at least like four. I think I got at least four people that I could think of offhand, registered to vote. And yeah, so I mean, did my part at least. I'm definitely registered. My lady's registered as well. But yeah, it's coming down to the wire. Just make sure everybody, vote early. If that's your thing, early voting has already started here in Arizona. The mail-in ballot should be arriving fairly soon, I believe.
Hopefully it's on the right size paper.
Right. Yeah, we'll see. Of course, I'll start posting in the link in the description the link to the websites where you can make sure, at least here in Pima County, that your vote has been accepted and that it's going to end up being counted for the election. I'll like I said, I'll link the website down in there before. But speaking of Arizona's elections, let's talk about Kari Lake and Gallego. So of course they had their debate. I believe it was yesterday on Thursday. I think, could be mistaken, but I believe it was yesterday. I watched most of it. I'm going to start pulling up some clips right now. But yeah, I did watch most of it from the very beginning. I don't know. I do, like I said, Kari Lake did kill it. I do have a little bit of some criticisms though. It's kind of one of those like yes, she'd talk over at certain points and stuff, and she would kind of continue with details of stories that weren't necessarily very, very important to get to the point. Kind of like how I do sometimes, but either way, and then it's just kind of like, you had like 20 chances to stop already. Like, and again, like I said, she's still spitting good facts. She's still fitting, making good points and everything. But at the same time, a lot of the undecided voters right now, like I say, it just could have come off a little bit either, somewhat obnoxious, or just like, oh, okay, can you let him get at least one of his 2 minutes in? Again, like I said, it's not like Ruben Gallego had anything good to say. Everything that he said was just, empty bullshit and, complete manipulations and lies, trying to lie about his record, things like that, which of course is a voting fucking record. So he's going to try and say that, oh, I voted with Donald Trump to fucking secure the border. Like, no, you fucking didn't. It's on fucking paper,
Not to mention all over the inner zones with the video clips and whatnot.
Right. Yeah. And so, but like I said, Kari Lake, the only thing that I could think of was, like I said, it's might be a little bit off-putting to some people, just that it's like, okay, you guys agreed upon these rules and you didn't follow them for a single minute, like, like I say, I understand, it's a debate and all that stuff, but like I said, it some parts did get kind of rambly, and it's just like, they're like, okay, okay.
Shut her down.
Okay, we'd like to move on now, and she's just going and going and going. It's like, dude, like, stop, just pause, like put a pin in it,
Yeah,
at
she's
least.
a camera chick though. She's a talker. That's what she does.
Oh
You know?
yeah.
And,
Yep.
and that's almost like the Trump, the 2016 fucking Trump approach to debates.
Right. Yep. But again, like I said, that's all great and everything. I mean, that's really also her 2022 campaign against Katie Hobbs, or her 2022 strategy against Katie Hobbs. But like I said, Donald Trump had his specific strategy in 2016, worked for him great. He had a slightly different strategy in 2020, and then now in 2024 he's again a completely different strategy. Now he's collected, he's presidential, he's doing things different ways, and so he's basically filling in all of the stuff that everyone's like, oh yeah, he's good, but he's taking care of all those buts. And like I say, it's working great for him. But like I said, a lot of these undecided voters, the only reason that they're undecided is because they don't want to fucking just hold their nose and vote for Trump. And so again, if you're just going to kind of put out that same vibe that is already off-putting to them, it might just put them off toward you as well.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, man. And that's the reason that current debates, they keep trying to hold Trump to these fucking rules, is because of what he did in 2016. Like you said, completely different approach in 2020, and he wasn't interrupting or really talking over Biden, too much at all, really. So it was, there was no reason for that, but because of that example, and I'm sure it did turn people off. I'm sure he did lose some people that were on the fence at that point because of his debate style. But then some of his base, it kind of solidified him then as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But of course, the like we say, when we were talking about the Biden, I mean the Trump, well, both Trump debates basically, that like I said, the diehard Trump voters, there's nothing that he can say that are going to make us not vote for Donald Trump. And the same thing is true with Carrie Lake. I don't give a shit. There's no fucking chance I'm going to vote for Ruben Gallego. Like, I'm voting for Carrie Lake, bottom line. So there's really nothing that she could have said to put me off either. But like I said, it's at this crunch time, it's all about those undecided fucking fence sitters.
Yeah, but did you see the attacks coming out? From MSM. It's not even it's much about the style, the way that she talked over him. They're taking the attack like how with JD Vance, in his debate, how they were like, well, he's slick with her.
Mm-hmm.
With her, it's all well, she was more polished. What
Yeah.
I mean? She's better in front of the camera. You know what I mean? Like it's absolute shallow attacks. They surely can't talk to her about my policy. And she was fact checking fucking Gallego in real time.
Oh yeah. Like I said, dude, she was wrecking it. Like she was out there just spitting facts, like dropping receipts and all this shit. Like I said, your voting record's on fucking paper. Like, we know what you voted for. Like, and so yeah, she wasn't letting nothing get by her. But yeah, like I said, the only thing is just that was my only tiny criticism about it, is just that it's like, all right, pump the brakes a little, like you're winning, like you got him in the corner. You don't need to start stomping his face in. People are going to start thinking that you're just vicious at this point.
You're going too far, man.
Right. Just put the brass knuckles away. Just you don't need those. You're winning.
Right.
Yeah, but ultimately is really, really good though. Like I said, I definitely think she has a chance, of course, with the stuff coming out with Ruben Gallego, which of course she was also kind of hammering home. She's doing it in a bit of a subtle way, like, oh, don't you have somebody in your family that's battled with drug addiction? Like, yeah, this fentanyl coming through the border must be killing you, right? And obviously, I'm completely paraphrasing, but stuff along those lines. Basically just like, oh, I'm sure you know all about addiction. It's running in your family, correct? If I'm not mistaken. Like, wasn't but she was pointed out. But as we mentioned earlier in the show, his father was just arrested, and of course he's been arrested before. He does have prior convictions for I'm not going to say for exactly, because I don't know the exact charges, but allegedly for things relating to drug dealing or possibly drug smuggling of some sort, which of course is not an uncommon thing for people that live within the Midwest and Arizona, because one thing that is about Arizona is we are very close to where the drugs come from. And one thing about the Midwest, there's a very high demand for those said drugs. So if you are able to move back and forth through Arizona and the Midwest, you can have yourself a very successful drug transportation business. So again, like I say, not I don't know any of the details of any of the cases, anything like that, but just from my lifetime of living in Arizona, that's one thing that did kind of stick out to me.
Second only to Florida as far as fucking, border productivity.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's said here in the state that the cartel runs the border here in Arizona. And, that's proof positive. Not to mention you got people around here that you'll meet, at rando on the street, like in a public, situation, and they'll throw job offers at you, right? You'll hear them bounced off of you. You drive people $1,000 a head taking to Phoenix.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck, man.
It's a nice SUV you got there. How many people could you fit in there?
Right.
Want to make some money?
Be like 6. It'd be like, no, I mean, like, how many can you really fit in there?
Right. 6. All right. So we'll schedule you with about 10. So,
right.
Right. Yeah. If I can, I actually got a phone call the other day, man. It was a bit of a surprise. I wasn't expecting it, but one of the poll people actually taking my opinion and on who I want to vote for of course president, Arizona Senate, and the district congressman. But yeah, it's pretty interesting, man. Got to break it down, speak a little bit of knowledge to them,
Yeah, my phone automatically blocks that shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't ever get them. And I always kind of sit here and wonder, like, well, who the fuck are they polling? Like all these people in these polls and shit. Like, I don't ever get these fucking polls and shit. Like, I don't know where the fuck you take these polls at. But yeah, I finally got a call. Someone like, oh well, who are you gonna be voting for? And I let them know.
I've done a lot of those .gov polls, like in my email and shit. You know what I mean? But,
yeah,
I've never gotten a phone call.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting.
I'm aware of.
Yeah, it was definitely had a lot more characters, to put it one way. And then the call was recorded too, so again, there's a good possibility somebody could be listening. But
trigger words and shit.
Right. But let me see if I could pull up some of these clips from the Kerry Lake debate here.
I just jotted down Ruben's exact quote. He called it the dumb, stupid border wall. He wrote an op-ed that said why we should never build Trump's wall ever. So we're getting the extreme makeover version of Ruben tonight. Ruben has voted against border security every step of the way. Remember, I covered the state for 27 years. I was in your home. And all that time we watched this career politician said they were going to secure the border and give us border security. And they never did until President Trump came along and actually secured the border. But he had to do it with one hand tied behind his back because people like my opponent were fighting him every step of the way, would not give a penny for that border wall. That border wall keeps us safe. We've seen it here in Arizona because we've seen those areas where the border wall is there and people aren't coming through. Where there are gaps in it, people are pouring through. And Ruben Gallego has supported every step of the way Kamala Harris, the border czar, and Joe Biden's open border policy, which has ushered in 20 million people illegally, including more than 400,000 convicted criminals. And they've done nothing to secure the border. The only piece of legislation that Mr. Gallego has put forth was not about border security. It was about removing the word illegal alien from anything in the federal government paperwork. He's more worried about semantics than our security. And right now, we know that we have terrorists that are coming through. We're worried about a potential terrorist attack on our home soil. We want to be able to go for a jog in the morning like Lake and Riley did and not have to worry about being killed, raped, and murdered. And we're not safe because of the people that have come in. Ruben Gallego has empowered the cartels. I want to finish the border wall. On day one, My first piece of legislation will be to fully fund and expedite the construction of the border wall. It's unfortunate we already paid for the construction materials to do that, but Ruben Gallego and Kamala Harris they sold that $325 million rather of border material for pennies on the dollar. They gave it away. We could have had that wall finished.
All right. So yeah, if, one thing I did want to point out though is that she did bring back that nostalgia of like, oh, I was in your homes. Her opening statement was basically like, almost sounded like her opening up the news program and stuff.
Right.
So I think she did go kind of for that nostalgia factor though.
Yeah, for cats that don't know, again, if you're not from Arizona, you wouldn't know, but she's been on our news for years and years here. So familiar face, and that's the whole reason that they love to point out that she's polished in front of the camera. But that was a prime example of what you were saying about what she could have brought the train into the station several times, man. There was a few times during that clip, and this is not even the first time I watched it, that I thought, oh, this is the end. Like, nope, she kept going. Like,
oh, yeah.
And I mean, don't get me wrong. Like you said, she killed it the entire time, but that was a little stretched out. She could have been bam, 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 what was voted for, yada, yada, and that's it. Cut it out.
Yep. I do like how she pointed out in this one about the bipartisan border bill that the Democrats keep touting. Donald Trump has his flunkies, I guess, or whatever, his MAGA diehards shoot it down and stuff. That this would have solved the border problem. Dude, it took like probably 3 rounds of questions for her to finally say like, oh, like what it would have actually done, But yeah, he was trying to hammer that home that like, oh, the Republicans, we had a bipartisan bill together, but the extreme MAGA Republicans shot it down at the last minute. And finally she basically just said fuck, I forgot what part she said, but basically what it would have also done would have been to she said to take out the term illegal aliens, but what it would have also done is basically codified up to 1,500 per day illegal crossings. So basically,
yeah, but they wouldn't shut it down unless it was out of control, and out of control is 5,000. So
right.
It was like,
Yeah. So basically, it wasn't going to fix illegal immigration by stopping illegal immigration. It was going to fix illegal immigration by legalizing illegal immigration. So that was the bipartisan border bill that Donald Trump and the extreme MAGA Republicans shot down. And thankfully they did. Thankfully they did, because that was absolutely ridiculous. It would have put a whole bunch of extra, border security on the border patrol agents over there making fucking sandwiches for the illegal immigrants coming through, but nothing to actually secure the border. Right? Again, just like the Inflation Reduction Act, it was nothing more than a name, and of course it was also tied to, you guessed it, more fucking money for foreign wars. Of course they ended up shooting down that, and then they just ended up passing the money for foreign wars by itself. So
yeah, it was going to do more for
that
Ukraine's
counts.
border, right? And they like to tell the only thing that made it bipartisan was Senator Langford. You know what I mean? He's the most conservative member. Like, if he's selling out to fucking the Democrats, he's obviously not a conservative. Like one, you know what I mean? And then beyond that, along with the codification, it would also give Mayorkas the power to grant asylum, and to choose fucking his judges as far as immigration judges, and that's where the whole we wanted to hire more. They don't really want more agents; they want more judges to expedite the fucking process.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was just going to be like a rubber stamp. And even the Border Patrol, like said, the union themselves, like, yeah, more agents would be great. That would, lessen the workload on everybody. But ultimately, we just need the power to enforce the fucking laws on the books, and we'll be okay. You know what I mean?
Yep. It's pretty simple. But of course, they don't want that. They just want to put on a show. They just want to make you think that they're trying to secure the border. That they're trying to do all they can to secure the border. Just like they tried to make you think that they're doing all they can to bring down inflation. Right. But of course, all they do is they just, make these misleading bills with all these riders and extras on there, and then whenever it gets shot down, because it's so obviously, blatantly not actually what the title is, they try and say that, they'll do something like the fucking Save Babies Act, but really all it is doing is codifying abortion. And then they'll say, oh, see, the Republicans, they didn't want to save babies, they don't care about babies. Like you guys are fucking ridiculous, and that's basically all that this was. And that's
the
their
Inflation Reduction Act, the Patriot Act, and fucking,
right.
You know what I mean? They just keep going with that shit.
Yeah,
that's how they've always masked it.
That's one reason why I like here in Arizona, we recently passed a law to basically do a single subject voting. I can't think of the damn fucking name right now. Referendums. So yeah, basically you can't have like 5 different fucking things, that are not related to the same subject in a bill anymore, or in a local referendum. So, of course, it's a double-edged sword. So, of course, everything has to be single subject, which means we have to vote on, a few more things. But at the same time, they also try to use it as a weapon against us in the, what was it? The voter ID thing. They're basically trying to say like, oh, well, it also has this attached to it, and this isn't directly related to voter ID. And so technically, they should throw out the entire bill. The people don't get to vote on it this year. Like, that's the tricks that they're trying to pull. But yeah, so at least we have single subject bills here in Arizona. I think the law also passed that any sort of a locally voted on tax rate has to pass I think 60% threshold. It's not just a 50% majority anymore to raise taxes. A good majority of the state has to agree to it.
And then also it passed that the Secretary of State can't, verify an election if any county is in dispute.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Another one that's actually on the ballot this election, which I should probably look it up because I have the pamphlet right behind me, but it's basically in order to petition to get something on the ballot, you have to go to every voting district and get a certain percentage of signatures from every district. So you can't just go fucking collecting signatures in the middle of Phoenix to fucking get abortion on the fucking on the ballot this year. You have to go get a certain amount from every single voting district within the state in order to get it put on the ballot.
I wonder how they break that up, man. That could be a pretty big fucking feat. There's a lot of sparsely populated areas out this motherfucker, man.
Yep. But at least I think it's only like 3% or something from 3% of the population of that voting district. So it's a nice. It'll at least give some representation to the small communities, the small towns and stuff like that basically just have to try and vote with their 50 different neighbors to protect themselves against the fucking radical fucking Democrats here in Tucson and up in Phoenix.
Yeah, and it's definitely like that, man. I don't recently I was up north, all over up there, and there's just Trump signs and flags fucking everywhere up there.
Yep. Yeah, so I mean, hopefully that'll keep some of these California funded PACs from coming over here and trying to change our system in order to more match California. To basically which is another thing that they're trying to do too is the what is it? Fucking open primaries. That's another one that's on the ballot this year too. Is they're trying to do open primaries to where, of course, they could do the same type of stuff that they did in what was it? Pennsylvania, I think something like that. I believe it's like New York or something like that, where they basically just got a whole bunch of people to vote for to register, or is open primaries, but to basically vote for what was her fucking name, Nikki Haley in the primary.
Right.
So that's basically what it would turn Arizona's elections into. So you wouldn't have to be registered with a certain party in order to vote in that party's primary. Say if I didn't want to vote for a Republican in the primary, I could go try and Pied Piper somebody within the Democrat Party to get them, a candidate that they really don't want, or someone that it basically just it I guess kind of cheapens the whole primary process, you know.
It does when it's weaponized like that. But for personal fucking choice, I mean, I like that. That was something that I always found strange here in Arizona. That in the fucking primary, the state primary, like if you want to vote, for somebody outside of your party, you have to change your party affiliation. That's fucking weird, man. Because what about the rest of the down ticket? What if it's only one candidate that I don't want to vote for? You know what I mean?
Right.
So I mean, there's that aspect, but like you said, the shit they were doing with Nikki Haley, just to try to fucking stop Trump, like yeah, when it's weaponized, it obviously can be a problem. And of course, at this fucking political stage and fucking the collapse, you could very well see that happening, especially here where there's been shenanigans now for some years straight.
Right, and especially just with the hive-mindedness of the left, of course, we wouldn't be able to pull no shit on that on the right. We can't Pied Piper anybody on the fucking left who can't get enough fucking people on the right to even make it out to actually fucking vote, to actually get our people elected, let alone get them to go out and vote for the worst candidate of the opposing party, but you could definitely get fucking Democrats to do that. All you got to go do is start passing out fucking flyers at the local college or university or something, or downtown it's a fucking shopping malls and all this and that, and yeah, they'll do it right away. Fucking announce it on the I don't know, fucking radio or whatever the fuck the kids are listening to these days.
Yeah, and like you were saying about the California issue, like that's huge. I was just talking to someone before, and recently, where they were trying to argue like it was the Republicans that are leaving fucking California, and they're coming to your state to vote Republican, and I'm like, no, they're not, man.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, obviously, we know we're in Arizona, and we see it fucking every day. And I'm not saying that Republicans aren't leaving California, but it seems like the leftists are leaving the shit that they created even faster. And that's the reason, like down here in Tucson, it's completely Democrat fucking structure almost, mayor, everything. And then obviously the state level with half the people in office are from California. You know what I mean? Fuck.
Yep. Yeah, shit. Fucking what is it? Katie Hobbs, her entire fucking campaign was run by Californians.
Right.
And Ruben Gallego voted to send another $60
billion. Some of these other ones. I think there's like 4 videos in this. Or no, there's only 2 here. But
and Ruben Gallego voted to send another $60 billion to Ukraine. And after he made that vote, he sashayed around the floor of Congress, waving a Ukrainian flag. I want to ask the veterans out there, can you ever imagine standing on the floor of Congress, standing anywhere, and waving the flag of another country? That is what this gentleman did. He sold us out. He sold us out to Ukraine. He spent $260 billion. He's voted for every penny of that, but he would not help President Trump build the border wall. Even when President Trump said to the Democrats, I want to make a deal when it comes to DACA. I want to make a deal when it comes to DACA. Let's make them citizens in exchange for helping me come up with money to build the border wall. And Ruben Gallego and the Democrats said no. They're using these DACA recipients as political pawns. I find that to be disgusting, Ruben. Why are you using them as pawns? Why wouldn't you make a deal with President Trump?
Yep.
Murdering him, choking him out.
You have been, you're more
Ruben,
interested in the
I've been
talking
covering
point.
this state for
She
30
wants the
years,
talking point and says
including
she
the
wants a
border.
solution. And Arizona's going to get hurt. Arizona's going to get hurt.
You have heard Arizona. I've been to the border
we've
more
given you a chance on
times.
this.
I've been to the border more times than you've probably been to Arizona.
Mr.
You have been, you're more interested in the talking point.
Right. Like you were saying, he's not from here, So I've been to the border more times than you've been to Arizona.
Yeah,
But,
it's pretty shitty, you think, because you don't want to impact anybody's idea of fucking what liberty or freedom is, but you almost have to have some type of limitations on your state government, like the presidency, right? You're not a citizen, you can't fucking be president. Like, you have to live in the state so long before you can run for fucking public office. You can't just show up from California and then fucking our current scheme, a couple years later you're the governor. Like, fuck that, man.
Right. Yeah, it's got to be your primary residence for at least fucking a decade. Fuck. Yeah, but yeah, fucking forgot what I was gonna say.
That's where you get like Andrew Yang saying he was going to move to Georgia so he could vote to impact the fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, just dumb
Yeah.
shit, man. It's always plotting and scheming. Like, you can't, just let things fucking play out naturally. God for
Yep.
fucking bid, dude.
And that's their thing, man. Is control. They must control everything.
Right.
They gotta dip their little fingers in everything they can.
We've had problems across the country since 2000. One year, the Democrats are mad. The next year, the Republicans are. We've got problems with our elections. And there's no doubt about it. The people of Arizona have been burned. They're tired of hearing about hiccups and loopholes and problems that happen on election day. We just want to make sure that our legal vote counts. My opponent wants illegal votes to count. He actually voted twice to have illegals vote. He voted against the SAVE Act, which would prevent illegals from voting. I want every legal vote to count. I don't care if you are the most liberal Democrat or the most conservative Republican, or where most of Arizona is, somewhere in between. I want every legal vote to count. My solution would be, let's get back to something closer to what we used to have. Election day, paper ballots, and we know the results right there on the night of the election.
National holiday,
We can't have people pouring across our country illegally voting. Not only does he want to let them vote, he wants to give them all asylum. And we've got to stop this nonsense at the border and restore our country.
1 minute to.
We've had.
Speaking of, don't forget, we got Indigenous Peoples Days coming up.
Yeah, and don't forget that that's the last thing that the fucking state wants. And when obviously the state in general, right? You see that the current fucking regime is suing different states for changing their laws to trying to hand count, suing them for, purging their voter rolls, even of people that can't prove citizenship. So on and so on. I mean, it's an obvious fucking, long haul scheme, coupled with the coming census and, representation.
Let's see if we got a couple of these ones real quick, and then we'll get ready to wrap it on up.
Ruben Gallego wants to take the choice away from us. He doesn't really care about women's rights. If he cared about women's rights, first of all, I'm astounded that he actually knows the difference between a woman and a man, because I thought there were, 147 different genders. I do care about women's rights. I come from a family of women, and I have a daughter of my own and many nieces and nephews. And I care about Laken Riley's right to exist and live and be safe. But his votes have caused it to where people are pouring across our border, dangerous people, taking away the lives of women. I care about the ability for our daughters to be able to participate in athletics. He doesn't want that. And he doesn't care about your First Amendment right to the women out there who might disagree with him politically. He wants to censor you. So let's talk about women's rights. Women care about a lot of different issues, Ruben. I know you spent, $40 million on attack ads regarding abortion. Think of how many lives could have been saved and how many women could have been helped with $40 million. And think about what we could have done to help make our country a better place with all those attack ads.
Tom.
All right. I do want to also point out, at the beginning of the abortion discussion, Ruben Gallego made a comment about how his 5-month-old daughter is not free to make choices with her body now. It's like, you saying that your 5-month-old daughter is not free to get abortions? Like, why would your 5-month-old daughter be getting abortions? Like, why would that be in any way a concern of her or you at this present point in time? It's decades away. But it's a little bit awkward there.
Not to mention, isn't your role as fucking a father is to instill fucking morals and try to steer them away from having to even consider that fucking option? You know what I mean? Not something that you're thinking about at 5 months old.
Right. I mean, if according to the left, though, they're trying to discover themselves. They don't quite know what they are yet. They're
like, according to the left, he should be able to abort that 5-month-old right now.
Right.
You know, we've had problems across the country since 2000. One year, the Democrats are mad. The next.
Yeah, we already did that one.
He's had 10 years in Congress. He's done nothing. I've lived here for 30 years, and I've watched as politicians continue to say we have a water crisis. We are in the West, and we need to look at long-term solutions. I'm not talking about fighting over a drop of water. We can conserve, but we can't conserve our way out of this crisis. Otherwise, we'll end up giving the short end of the stick to our ag community and our ranchers, and we'll have a food crisis before we have a water crisis. I want to go to Washington, D.C. and work on true solutions, piping in fresh water, desalination, but finally, for once and for all, bringing in new sources of water to the West. The West is growing. We don't want to be scrounging over water. We want to have plentiful water sources, and I'm going to do it. I'm sick of watching politicians like Rubin do nothing. He's had 10 years.
Right. That's and always a part of the debates here in Arizona is water. Because of course that, obviously it's a big thing here in Arizona. We don't got much water, and much of the water that we do have, we have to pipe in, or go through what is it? I guess they're retention plants, or what I'm talking about, water recycling plants and stuff.
Yeah, and they do shit that they absolutely fuck themselves and everyone else, obviously. With when it's 117 degrees here, obviously evaporation happens, right? And we have canals all over the place. And like she mentioned there, we have a lot of farms, ranchers. We can grow food here pretty much all year round. And so a lot of your produce and stuff comes from, out here in the West. But the canals that bring them in are uncovered. And just in the sun, when it's 100 plus degrees, I mean, you're losing millions of gallons a year just to evaporation alone.
Right.
And we don't get a lot of rain. That shit goes up into the atmosphere and goes elsewhere to disperse. So
that shit fucking travels all the way to Florida, man. Fucking shit, stay here.
Right. Everything else here is fucking stays dry and on fire.
Right. Like when you be walking down the street, the sun be straight fucking punking you for your sweat and shit. Like, you got some water on you, motherfucker? Give me that shit.
Yep. Signs everywhere. Don't even throw a cigarette out, dude. You're gonna kill the whole city.
Right. Yeah. You can freaking destroys the climate.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do one more, and then
he acts like he cares about us. I want to speak to the women out there, but when you look at his character and his background, he has been harassing women and being disparaging toward women from the very beginning. When he worked at City Hall, he had a complaint about a hostile work environment and being hostile toward women. He went over to the legislature, he had a sexual harassment filed against him in the legislature. People go crying out of his office. This is a man who is putting on his extreme makeover act, and what you see behind the scenes is not somebody who cares about women.
Lake, we want to get some specifics for voters because you did mention that you have a plan to support.
He acts like he cares about us. I want to speak to
man, they fucking suck at cutting these clips.
Right.
But yeah. Either way, man. Fucking anything else you wanna throw in? Any other pieces of news we missed?
No news, but I got to comment on that video there. I mean, they say that chicks are the most cattiest, and judgmental towards each other. That not really dudes, and he doesn't care about women. Obviously, that beard is a product of hormone fucking replacement therapy. You know what I mean? It's just a catty chick with a fake beard, and you know what I mean? And that's it. It smells later.
Right. Sums up the Democrat Party in a sentence. Yeah. But all right, man. We appreciate you guys stopping by. Don't forget to like this video, share this video out with your friends. Of course, let us know what you guys think in the comments section. Yeah, all the other good stuff, man.
Like your country depends on it. Just damn it.
Right.
We don't want communism, man.
Yeah.
I want cheap gas, cheap fucking bills, and mo menace.
Right. Yep. Talk to people. Talk to people within your community. Talk to people that you don't know. Go out and talk to strangers, people. Go out and start talking to strangers. And you don't got to go full on like who you voting for, like anything like that, Just talk about the price of living these days. Like that's something you could start a conversation with anybody about at this point in time, and then just casually explain why. you know. And I you know, oftentimes you'll be surprised at how many people out there actually already fucking know why, you know, and they're right there on board with you. It's really just, you know, it seems like you know, the I guess people that are aware have been kind of in a bit of a more I guess closeted sort of mindset, you know. But yeah, you know, get out there, talk to people, let them know what's going on, and you know, make some new friends, you know, talk like I say, inform the world. All right. That being said, we appreciate y'all. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and as always, bug off.